The bullet ant is missing a leg and half an antenna. She releases a chemical scream, an alarm pheromone meant to summon her sisters. Within 2 minutes, 10 flies land on her body. They don't come to help. They drive their ovipositors through her wounds and inject 40 eggs into her living body. She has climbed this trunk every night for 3 years. She has carried nectar clamped between her jaws, because her body never evolved a way to swallow it. She fought a border war 2 hours ago. The wounds are still open. Her own voice called them in. To understand why the most painful sting on Earth can't save the ant that carries it, you need to go back to the chamber where she hatched, and the body she was given that was already out of date. Level 1. Larva. You're a white comma of tissue, sealed in darkness, 20 inches below the surface. Humidity at 90%. Workers sort you beside your sisters, and the chemistry of what they feed you is building the only body you'll ever wear. One design. No variation. You don't get a say. Weeks pass. Your cocoon splits. You emerge at 25 millimeters, dark reddish-black, armored like a wingless wasp. Every sister in this colony is your exact copy. No soldiers with reinforced skulls. No miner workers with nimble limbs. One chassis. The same one your ancestors carried 100 million years ago. The colony doesn't build specialists. It builds copies. Level 2. Nurse. They put you deep. Brood chambers where the walls are slick with condensation, and the air coats your antennae like warm oil. You carry eggs between rooms, sort larvae by size, press regurgitated insect protein directly into mouths that can't feed themselves. The chamber must hold between 24 and 27 degrees. A 2-degree shift stalls larval development for weeks. If humidity drops below 70%, the brood starts desiccating within hours. You regulate it with your own body, clustering tight when the chamber cools, spreading apart when it overheats. You are the thermostat and the feeding tube. Same mandibles, same body. The colony that raised you was built on sacrifice you never saw. The queen's first generation of workers emerged stunted, nanotic, undersized, and they laid unfertilized eggs from their own ovaries to feed the next round of larvae. Trophic eggs. Not offspring. Fuel. Dissections of founding workers showed 5 out of 6 had yolky oocytes developing inside them. They converted their own reproductive systems into feeding tubes for the colony's survival. A larva beside you stops eating. Its body stiffens. A nurse lifts it from the row and carries it out of the chamber without hesitation. You don't follow. You don't ask where it goes. The colony can't afford to pause for the ones who quit growing. Neither can you. A vibration rolls through the tunnel above. Not rain. Heavier. A column of Eceton burchelli, army ants, is passing within 30 meters. Millions of them, in a single living current. If they find the entrance, your sting means nothing against those numbers. They'd swarm you, pull you apart at the joints, pour into the brood chambers before the nurses could evacuate a single cocoon. The colony holds still. Even the queen stops laying. They pass, this time. You nurse with jaws built for severing limbs. The colony never made a gentler pair. Above you the rain is picking up. The entrances need work. Level 3. Patroller. You move up. The tunnels widen. Gray light filters down from somewhere above. Your job now is maintenance. Hauling excavated soil to the surface. Reinforcing walls that soften after every storm. Standing guard at nest entrances built on the downhill side of a buttress route. The placement isn't random. The colony uses the trunk of the host tree, a Pentachelthra, ancient, massive, as a physical shield. When the monsoons hit, water sheets down the trunk and diverts around the entrance. 17 out of 19 nests in your habitat are positioned exactly this way. Leeward, shielded. The rains come, relentless. The topsoil over one entrance washes thin, and you spend hours repacking it, dragging mud with your abdomen, laying pheromone traces so your sisters can follow. A second entrance collapses entirely. A nurse carrying a cocoon is sealed beneath the rubble. The colony doesn't dig her out. The next downpour is already building, and every minute you spend excavating is a minute the remaining entrances go unrepaired. You remember the chamber where you hatched, same walls, same dark, same temperature held together by the same bodies doing the same work. It feels smaller now, or the cracks just show more. Every repair buys the colony another day. Not a future, a day. The canopy above is where the calories are. The nectar, the protein, that's where the colony sends its oldest workers to find them. You're not old enough yet. You're getting there. Level 4. Forager. This is the job that kills you. You're the oldest now. The colony sends its oldest to die first. You leave the nest at dusk and climb straight up the trunk of the Pentachelthra, 30 meters into a canopy where the rules change. The air is hotter, drier. Your body can't regulate its own temperature, and the canopy is laced with sunflecks, stochastic patches of direct tropical sunlight that superheat the branches without warning. Your thermal ceiling is narrow. A rise of 5 to 10 degrees above your operating range, and your muscles seize. You abandon the foraging patch, retreat to the understory. Calories burned, nothing gained. When you do find nectar, sweet, concentrated, the exact carbohydrate the colony needs to survive, you can't swallow it. You don't have a crop. That internal reservoir, more advanced species evolved to store and regurgitate liquid. Your lineage never developed one, so you hold the droplet between your mandibles, clamped shut, suspended by surface tension alone, and carry it down 30 meters of vertical bark, in the dark. If a raindrop hits you, the nectar is gone. If you brush a branch, gone. If anything attacks you, a spider, a rival, a lizard, you can't bite back. Your jaws are occupied. You're carrying your colony's next meal on the outside of your face. Sometimes the foragers form a bucket brigade, passing the droplet jaw to jaw down the trunk to shorten the distance any one worker carries it. It saves energy. It also means 4 of you are exposed on open bark instead of 1. The pheromone trail you laid on the ascent washes away in the next storm. The calories you spent mapping the route vanish with it. Tomorrow, you start from 0. A sister ahead of you on the trunk is snatched by something in the dark. A quick vibration through the bark, then nothing. The column doesn't stop. You don't look back. You keep climbing with the droplet clamped between your jaws, because the larvae in the chambers 30 meters below can't eat until you arrive. Foraging isn't a promotion, it's a countdown. Something crosses your trail on the forest floor. A pheromone signature that doesn't belong to your colony. It's fresh. It's close. Level 5. Border. The signature leads you to a forager from a rival colony, another Paraponera clavata, 18 meters south. In most territorial species, established neighbors learn to tolerate each other over time. Not here. Your species operates under the nasty neighbor rule. The closer the rival, the higher the aggression. Colonies within 20 meters of each other show significantly higher mortality and shorter lifespans than those spaced farther apart. There's no posturing, no circling, no bluffing, no hours-long standoffs like the giant forest ants of Malaysia who box and grapple for days without drawing blood. Your kind grips, stings, and severs. She takes your left antenna, you take her foreleg. The fight lasts seconds. She drags herself south, you drag yourself north. Both colonies lost a worker today. Neither one will notice. Your stinger, loaded with ponerotoxin, a neuropeptide that locks vertebrate sodium channels open and sends 24 hours of blinding pain through a human nervous system, didn't decide this fight. She carries the same venom, same chassis, same metabolic investment, and a weapon built to terrify monkeys and birds. Against your own kind, the legendary sting is just another blunt tool, wielded by the same body, doing the same job. You're leaking hemolymph from the stump where your antenna was. Your mandibular glands fire on reflex, releasing alarm pheromones. 4-methyl-3-heptanol. A chemical scream coded into your biology, meant to bring your sisters running. Something is coming, but it isn't your sisters. Level 6. Wounded. They arrive in under 2 minutes. Apocephalus paraponerae, phorid flies, 1.5 millimeters long. They homed in on the exact chemical compound you released to summon help. Your alarm pheromone, the signal your colony has used for millions of years to coordinate defense, is the same molecule these flies evolved to track. You called for rescue. You rang a dinner bell. The first fly lands on your thorax. She's equipped with a sclerotized ovipositor, hardened, curved, shaped to pierce your exoskeleton. But she doesn't need to drill through your armor. She uses the open wound where your antenna used to be. She drives her ovipositor through the gap and injects eggs directly into your body cavity. Then a second fly, then a fourth, then 10. Up to 40 eggs from multiple females, deposited inside your hemicole in under a minute. The males arrive too. They feed on the hemolymph leaking from your cuts. They mate with the females on your back while you're still breathing. You don't die today. That's not how this works. The larvae that hatch inside you are selective eaters. Non-vital tissue first. Hemolymph second. They keep you alive on purpose. A fresh, warm incubator that lasts longer than a corpse. For 3 to 7 days, you walk, you breathe, you carry parasites that are hollowing you out from the organs inward. Your sting can lock a human's nav 1.7 sodium channels open for 24 hours. It can paralyze a limb. It can cause hallucinations from pain alone. But the fly on your back weighs less than a milligram. She has no pain receptors worth targeting. Your venom evolved to terrify vertebrates. Animals big enough to remember the agony and learn to stay away. Against the things that actually kill your species, the most painful weapon in the insect world doesn't register. You spent your entire life producing ponerotoxin, a metabolic tax drawn from every calorie you ever ate, and the thing eating you alive is too small to feel it. Your weapon was a warning sign, posted in a language your killers can't read. Level 7. Hollow. You don't die the day the flies find you. That's the cruelest part. The larvae hatch inside your hemicoel within hours. They eat selectively, non-vital tissue first, hemolymph second, keeping your organs running, your legs moving, your body warm. A fresh incubator lasts longer than a dead one. So you walk. You climb the trunk. You carry nectar in your jaws. You do every job the colony assigned you, while something inside you is making room for itself between your muscles. The colony doesn't know. You smell the same. You move the same. There's no pheromone for what's happening to you. On the third night, you pass a sister on the bark who isn't foraging. She's climbing past the canopy routes, past every trail the colony has ever laid, past anything useful. Her path makes no sense. She reaches a vine at a specific height, where the humidity and temperature are exactly what something else needs, and she stops. Her mandibles close on a leaf edge. They don't open. You've watched sisters die a dozen ways, crushed in collapses, snatched on the trunk, torn apart in border raids. But this is different. She chose to climb here, or something chose for her. Ophiocordyceps poneronarum, a fungal spore that breached her cuticle weeks ago, replicated inside her blood in silence, and flooded her nervous system with compounds that seized her motor control. She didn't abandon the colony. She was driven out of it, and in the days to come, a stalk will split through the back of her skull and rain thousands of infectious spores down onto the trails below, the same bark you're standing on right now. She was built to protect this colony. Now she's a weapon aimed at it from above. 2 different parasites. 2 sisters. Same body. The one the colony gave both of you. The same chassis that can't fight a spore threading through its own brain, and can't feel a fly laying eggs through its own wounds. Your venom's lethal dose is 16 times weaker than a harvester ant half your size. You spent more metabolic energy producing ponerotoxin than almost any other process in your body. The fungus doesn't care. The fly doesn't care. The army ants don't care. You were the most painful ant on Earth, not the most dangerous. Nobody warned you about the difference. Your legs are slower tonight. The larvae have reached the vital organs. Level 8. Colony. You stop on the 5th day. Your legs fold beneath you on the forest floor, 30 meters below the trunk you climbed every night for 3 years. The larvae crawl out through gaps in your exoskeleton and drop into the leaf litter to pupate. In 17 to 26 days, they'll emerge as adult flies, ready to follow the next alarm pheromone, find the next wounded sister, start the whole cycle over. Your husk lies where you fell. Dark, reddish-black, still shaped like a forager, but the inside is gone, consumed, converted into the next generation of the parasite that hunted you with your own voice. Recent genetics show it's worse than anyone assumed. Apocephalus paraponere isn't one species. It's a cryptic complex, at least 4 genetically distinct lineages, each one evolving independently, sharpening its ability to read your chemistry and crack your defenses. The arms race isn't slowing down, it's branching. The colony doesn't retrieve your body. No signal returns, so you're a forager who didn't come back. Your slot in the column fills by morning. The trail you walked every night is reassigned without ceremony. The queen who built this colony started with nothing. Semi-claustral, she didn't carry enough fat to seal herself underground and raise a brood on her own tissue. She had to leave. Hunt on the open forest floor with a prothorax too small to carry prey efficiently. No soldiers, rival colonies within killing distance. She tore off her own wings and converted her flight muscles into calories for daughters who emerged stunted and undersized. Those daughters converted their own reproductive organs into trophic egg factories just to keep the next generation of larvae alive. That was the cost of the first year. The nest has held for 2.5. That's the average. Now every nurse, every patroller, every forager who climbs and carries and bleeds and dies runs on the same chassis you did. One shape. One set of mandibles, no specialization, no upgrade. An ancient design running unchanged in a forest that invents new threats every generation. The army ants will come again. The phorid flies are circling the trails. The spores are settling on the bark. The rival colony 18 meters south hasn't moved. The sunflecks wait in the canopy. The sister who replaced you on the trail tonight carries the most painful sting on Earth. It won't save her either. It was built to make something bigger flinch once, so she can keep working for one more day. In a body that was out of date before she was born. She keeps climbing. She keeps carrying. She doesn't stop. Not because she's brave, because she's the only design the colony has.